Hello friends! A very common request I get is how can I do more damage on the trap? And the biggest thing is going to be to set formations and have that ready to go before trap. So your first formation that you're going to attack with is going to be your main 3 heroes. And then you're going to want to retreat all and do cats, because cats do the most amount of damage. When you do cats, you also want to make sure that your raptor is an owl. So either the snowy owl or that legendary owl. And this is how I do it. I click occupy, so that'll be my first march. I'm going to save it to formation 1, click march. Go ahead and click the next one, occupy. This I'm going to switch again to an owl because I'm going to be using cats. The Ezreal is a good one for cat damage. So again, we'll set that, save 2, march off. Occupy. At this point, we only have 40,000 cats. And I also don't really have like a high level owl. So I might go ahead and use dogs so I can use a nice raptor. Or I could use a mix and use a kestrel. So the other thing here is that none of these 3 are heroes I'm going to want to use as a captain because none of them increase damage. So this one does. We'll use that. And I think I'm going to use the kestrel so that I can use up the rest of my cats and the boxers. So march, because the kestrels increase all damage. The next one I will go ahead and use dogs so I can use that raptor. We will use Bella. And I don't want to use Herald here because Herald is good for increasing damage. So just boxers here. Save. You also want to make sure you save your marches. I think I forgot to save my 3rd march. Now number 4. I'll go ahead and use. So my Herald, I only have 4 out of the 5 skills. This white dog, though, would have 5 out of the 5. So we'll go ahead and use that one. Gonna switch out the raptor again. We'll use the kestrel, which increases all damage. So we're using the boxer still. So 5, march. And then, so here, now that we are down to turtles, we're going to go ahead and use our macaw. It looks like the Herald is going to be my next best hero to use. It fills in with the turtles. I'm going to save that as march number 6. So because you can use a rally and also join with all of your marches, if you have 6 march queues, that actually means that you can send out 7 sets of troops. However, you cannot save a 7th one. This is where I will pull back my main march so they can show you what my next, what basically my 7th march will look like. And it's not going to be those 3, it'll be these guys. And none of my heroes at that point are going to be increasing damage. The kestrel is going to be the one that automatically fills, and it will be all turtles. So if you don't have a kestrel, if you have a macaw, or the galal is also a good one too if it's going to be turtles, because the 7th one for me especially is going to be all turtles. I'll want it to be either the galal, the macaw, or a kestrel, and that will automatically be the case. If you do not power up your heroes or your raptors, then these set marches will be good to go for your trap. I do, however, just go ahead and go in and make sure before trap that you'll hit your 1, see if you need a slide to add any extra troops. And if there is that like it adds like 10, 15, 20, 100 troops. You could go through and again just save and occupy like we did here. The number of troops that your march can hold will increase if you've upgraded your command center. It will also upgrade if you've increase the level of your heroes. So for people that are constantly powering up, you're going to have to update these more often. For people like me that pretty much only power up during King of the Wilderness or server versus server, I don't need to update my formations very often. So here, just real quick, if you're going to use knights, you always want to use the Goshawk guy or the bald eagle. And if you look here, it is only increasing knight damage. So if you're using assassins, even if you have a legendary raptor in there that's increasing knight damage, it does nothing for you. You're much better off using a kestrel, because the kestrel is doing very small damage increase, but it at least does do it to all types of troops. So if you don't have a legendary or epic raptor that matches your troop type, make sure you use a kestrel. And this is my main account, my legendary raptor. I'm primarily focusing on having that nice assassin. For the epic ones, I've got a nice epic owl as well. So those two are going to be really big on increasing my trap damage. I also like to make sure I have a good macaw, because I do play very defensively, and I want to make sure that my march, especially with like Ash at the forefront, is going to have that nice high damage increase for my warriors. So trap just opened. This is how it's going to set. I send my first rally. I click number 1. That's my 3 main heroes with my owl. I click join 2, join 3, join 4, join 5, join 6. And my last march is all warriors, so you see a macaw was used.